Hello rebels! Now let's talk about narcissists and pets. Well, if you're thinking of going on holiday and leaving your cat or dog to your narcissistic mother or father or sister or whatever, don't. Don't. Because the same way they treat people, their children, cold shower, hot shower, cold shower, hot shower, cold shower, hot shower. That's what they do to animals too. They hate them, they like them, they hate them, they like them, they hate them, they like them. Poor animal, can go crazy. So don't ever leave your animal with your narcissist, with the narcissist in your life. I have many stories to say about, which is just discreetly, just look at them around animals. They will touch it and stroke it and, oh, what a lovely cat. Oh, this is the nicest dog I've ever seen. And about in 5 minutes later, the dog is going to bark and they're going to go, stupid dog, stupid animal. Or the cat is going to jump with them. Oh, no, my clothes, there's hair all over my clothes now, take this animal away. So you can tell that it's not real when they say they like them. They absolutely hate any sort of animal. The birds singing bothers them. They hate the birds singing. They hate the seagulls making noise. They hate the what's that little insect that makes noise when it's hot, very hot? Tzitzika, we call them in Greece. Anyway, it's a lovely sound. I mean, if you're in the pine trees, under the pine trees in the summer and it's hot and the sun goes down and you hear all this tzitzika going, it's lovely. Of course, you can go crazy if you have that constantly, but they do that noise on very hot days. And I mean, if you close yourself in the house, you don't have to listen to them, but it's a pleasure to go out in the garden and just sit and relax and have this sound at the back. No, they hate that too. Well, my mother, she hates nearly about everything there is that makes a sound. So she had a dog once because she absolutely wanted a dog. She always wants animals. But she wants them for a certain reason. She wants dog to protect her in case thieves come and steal her house. So that Peter guy found a dog, and it was German Shepherd. When it was small, it was cute and small. And then but it became very, very, very big with huge balls. And the poor dog was tied at the end of the garden 24 hours a day. She would not, because it was too big for her to walk him, so she would not even let him off the chain. And he was tied to a chain constantly. The dog had become what Greeks try to make out of them by tying them all day long. I mean, constantly. They never leave them run free. They make them guard dogs. This is how they make them guard dogs. I mean, the dog was gone. He was barking and running around whenever he saw somebody coming in the garden. And but anyway, this was telling her that the dog is miserable, and she would phone me up and complain about the dog who jumped on her, and she had scratches on her arms. She would go completely drunk, of course, to feed the dog. I mean, you don't do that when you're drunk. The dog was so happy he's gonna jump on you, and he was so big that he brought her down once or twice. And one day she called me up completely paranoid, and she was like, I have to put down the dog. And I said, why would you do such a thing? If you don't want the dog, you have to give it to somebody else. Just ask around and see if somebody wants and can handle a big dog like that. You can't put him down just because you don't like him. You don't put down. And she was like, No, he threw me down and he looked me right into the eyes, and I could tell that he hated me. He wanted to kill me. He wanted to kill me. That dog wanted to kill me. He hated me. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, a dog cannot hate somebody just like that. You know, you feed him. You're the only person he sees, you know. You're the only person that goes close to his house. Anyway, the dog is gone. We don't know what happened to him. One day Peter took him and didn't bring him back. And when my mother asked, what did you do with him? Oh, don't tell me. Yes, tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. And by him not wanting to, and then she told me that he didn't want to tell her, and I'm sure they went and put him down somewhere. I can be sure about it. I've left to my mother one dog wants to take care of. When we lived here, I had a dog, and then we moved to the other island, and the house we were renting, they didn't allow dogs. So I asked her, can we take that house? Or shall we look for another one? Can you keep the dog a little longer? And she said, no, I want a dog in I want a dog in the garden to protect me anyway. Not that that dog would have been a protector. That dog was was too soft and too nice. But she said, I'll have him and all that. And well, he didn't make it through the year. He died. We never knew why he died. 2 years ago, this happened like 7 years ago, and 2 years ago, a friend of hers who comes here on holidays talked to me. He didn't know that that dog was mine, and we were talking about my mother, and he said, oh yeah, I remember, yeah, and don't let your animals there, because he's an animal lover. He has like 9 dogs, I think, and cats. 15 cats or something like that, I don't know. And he said, don't leave your animals there ever. He said she shouldn't take animals. She shouldn't take animals because she's not good with them. She said, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember that yellow dog? He said she had, and I was like, oh my God, he's talking about my dog there. I said, a little fat one. Yes. I'm sure she killed him. And I was, oh, did she now? I'm going to get more, because if I told him that was my dog, maybe he would have stopped his story. And I did want to know how that dog died. She was so nice, Minnie. Anyway, and what happened is, she had a can of meat, dog meat, that stayed out in the summer. And it was full of worms, and it was like full of mousse kind of thing. It was gone bad. And the guy told him, he lived in her house at that moment when he came over on holiday, and he said to her, well, you're not going to give that to the dog, you're going to kill him. And she said, yeah, you think so? Well, they eat about everything, He said, no, that is bad, you're going to kill the dog. And she didn't give it then, but when he came back, he went to the village for his usual ice cream and all that, and when he came back, he saw that the can was empty. And he said to my mother, no, it didn't happen this way. So 2 days later, I don't see the dog. 2 days later, he goes to her house, and she tells him, I haven't seen the dog today all day. Can you go and have a look in the garden where he could be and all that? And he walks down the garden and he finds the dog dead. And he comes back and he said, your dog is dead. The dog is dead. And he looks to be sure on the bench, and he sees the can that 2 days earlier he told her not to feed the dog with was empty. And he said, did you feed the meat in the can? She said, yes, well, I did. I didn't think it was going to kill him. I think you killed the dog. His stomach was like a balloon. So this is how my mother killed my dog. And, no, they're very weird. They're very, very... Well, they're just as bad with people, but they're with animals also. And so there was a wild cat. We had a wild cat. In the neighborhood, there's a lot of wild cats. And there was one old wild cat that kind of came every day to eat. He was male. So these males in the wild, they fight a lot for their females and all that. You could tell that he was old as well. So he was not handling the fights too well. I mean, he always came back with his ear ripped away. One day he came back in a condition which was horrible. His eye was ripped away, his ear, his jaw was... I mean, he got in a very, very big fight. But the cat was still going on. I mean, these animals that are wild, you can't touch them, you can't do anything for them. They just come out and eat and go. And they're very strong animals. And my mother was like, we have to take him and put him down. I mean, months went by, everything was fixed, but he didn't have an eye. He was missing an eye, he was missing an ear, and his mouth was a bit crooked. But the animal continued on coming, and you could see that he was having a normal life. To eat, to drink, and go away. He was even really good because there were some wild kittens that were born in our garden somewhere. Anyway, we could tell that. Well, we followed the smell one day and we realized the mother was dead, but there were some wild kittens and there was no way to catch them. No way, absolutely no way. So we're trying to feed them from far away. And out of all the kittens, one survived. And he was daring enough, and he survived because he was daring enough to come near the house and get water and food. And this old cat, it was amazing, this old cat, you could see that he took him under his wing, and he was protecting him and showing him how to catch tzitziki, those bzzz, not the things that make the noise in trees, anyway. And he was teaching him how to climb up the tree and catch them to eat. I mean, it's protein. He tried and got him to get into the house closer into the house so that he would be able to eat more food. It was amazing. Anyway, when my mother came back from her country after the first operation, I told her, I mean, this cat is amazing. And she was like, no, we have to take him. He can't live like this. It's horrible. I can't watch him. He's disgusting. You know, he's missing the eye and all that. We have to go and put him down. And I was like, okay, remind me that again. Okay, when you're in your 90s and you start saliving and you're like, kind of, you know, losing control and shitting on yourself and all that, losing control of your body. I said, remind me that again, okay? He was like, I said, we can't put down everything that we don't like looking at anymore, you know, it's just, I mean, if she told me he's in pain, we have to put him down, it's different. I said, but, you know, we have to put him down, it's disgusting, I can't watch this cat anymore, come and pick it. How many times she told me, come and pick it up and go and leave it up in the mountains. I said, he's gonna die in the mountains. You can't do that. Anyway, crazy. My dog, she likes my dog so much. It's the nicest dog she's ever seen. And such a clever boy and so quiet and doesn't bark. He's a perfect dog and all that. 5 minutes later, she kicks him. You know, go away now, get out of the house. Get out. And she talks to him like it's a burden, you know, like she's been, poor dog is sitting like that, you know. Suddenly she just can't even look at him anymore, you know, he has to go out. And I'm sure that this overreaction to the animals is because my father, who left her, used to love animals. My father always had animals. We grew up with animals of all sorts. all sorts. What can I say? From baby crocodile, we had monkeys. He even gave us one Christmas a cow for a present. I mean, a cow in a house, not in a field. We didn't have a field there. We had a cow, a normal house with a garden, a little garden. And Christmas gift was a cow, which had to go before it was too big to get out of the house. But we had different animals in our lives. Loads of chickens, loads of ducks, loads of rabbits, everything. And I think her reaction to the animals is this: she wants to like them, but at the same time she hates them after a moment because the animals remind her of my father. But I'm sure that all the Narcs don't have patience with animals. And surprisingly enough, I see that everybody in the community who's making videos, I mean, must have been one or two people only that didn't have a cat or a dog passing by while they were doing their videos, meowing at the back or barking at the back. We all have animals. We all have pets. Or birds, or even birds. One woman has birds, she's making her videos and behind her. But the Narcs, they don't like them. Well, they don't like anybody, so it's not surprising they don't like animals. But to hate the sound of a bird, how crazy are you? Really, nothing interests her. Nothing, absolutely nothing interests. She wants to kill everything. So she takes sprays, piff baff we call them, the sprays and kills all sorts of insects, whether it's spiders, everything. She kills everything. I'm like, you're gonna kill yourself with all this spraying, around. And well, that wouldn't be such a bad thing, but no, she wouldn't succeed in doing that, I think. Palm trees, we had palm trees that were sick. And okay, they're beautiful, they're big. They don't belong to Greece, the palm trees are sick, they're dying. And she wanted us to go and spend I don't know how much dose medicine for one tree is about €80. I said, you have 30 trees, okay, how much is going to cost? And you have to do that every 6 months. I said, this is like trying to save something that is doomed to die anyway one day. Meanwhile, I said, all these medicines that you put on the trees, we're not only killing the insect of the palm tree, we're killing bees. Kilometers far away, I used to hang the sheets when I was doing the laundry at her house, hang the sheets. And there was a year before we came, she had put medicine to try and save the palm trees. Pesticide, not medicine, pesticide, poison to try and save the palm trees. And that summer, when I was hanging the trees, I was hanging the clothes. I mean, I can't say how many times, or the insects were just dropping down from the sky. I mean, it's not like I had a tree on top of me or a branch or something. They were flying, probably sniffing the pesticide and straight down. All sorts. Bees, big like scarabaeus, all sorts of insects. They were all dropping dead in front of my eyes. So of course, if you don't have flies, and insects in your garden, you don't have trees anymore. And we saw a big difference. Last year, there were no trees. No birds at all. No birds in the trees. The birds have totally disappeared. Because we've killed all the insects. Because we want to try and save a fucking palm tree that doesn't belong to this country anyway. plant an olive tree, plant a fig tree, plant any tree that belongs in this country. So, no, she can't understand that. But she was away last year and her palm trees, like, in 1 week, they were infected and died. I said, you see, what was the point? You put all this medicine, you spend all the money, they're dead anyway now. So now you don't put anything more. I won't allow you to put medicine. This is like, it shouldn't be, they shouldn't be allowed to sell it. And yeah. Whatever it is, whatever animal, insect, or whatever living thing, they don't give a shit about them. They don't give a shit. Oh, come on, we're not going to save the bees. I'm like, if we have something to save in this world, it's the fucking bees we have to save, you know? Without the bees, we're nothing. Who says these stupid things? Go and have a conversation after that. Go and have a conversation if they don't even know that. How important the bees are to the cycle of life. Okay? But no, it's pesticide, kill everything. And this is another thing when I'm talking about Greeks being very narcissistic. Greeks don't like animals. Greeks don't like trees. They don't like anything that has got to do with the nature. Most of them, there's a small percentage. If they like, they really like. But the Greeks, they will feed an animal, but they don't want to touch it. They will not touch it. If they have a garden with trees, they're gonna not only build a house and keep a garden around it. If they get a field. Okay, they get a piece of land and they need to build a house. They're gonna fucking cement the whole land, the whole piece of land. They're gonna raise down every single tree there is because they don't want to have to sweep leaves every day. The trees are dirty, they will say. So they cement everything to be able to keep it clean. They don't think. They don't think at all what world they're leaving to their children or their grandchildren. No, as long as their life is a clean life with no leaves, with no insects, with no this, with no animals, with no hair, with nothing, okay? That's the most important for them. That's the most important for them. They will never leave a piece of land with a garden with a few trees outside their house. No. From the beginning, the first thing they're going to do is raise everything. Yeah. So that's a little sign also in my country, you know. Their love for cleanness, cleanness. I say their love for cement. And they're not caring at all about nature. They don't give a shit. They fucking throw their paints in the river. Saw another story about that. This guy was painting and I was like, okay, what do I do now with white spirit? It was the buckets with all the leftovers of paint and all the white spirit and all that. And I said, what? I was trying to think. I was 17. And I was trying to think, where could I put this bucket and I will do the less damage? My first idea was a parking lot. I mean, I thought, okay, but it's going to take long to go through that. There's nothing, there's no grass, there's nothing. It's a parking lot. Go and let it there, leave it there, you know. And the guy was like, go throw it in the river. Go throw it in the river. I said, what? Yeah, it's going to go in the sea. What do you care? Who's going to care, man? Who's going to care? If I throw this paint. Don't you realize the damage it's gonna go? It's gonna do? How many fishes on its way it's gonna kill? I'm gonna throw all the painting leftovers in the river that goes to the sea? 2 children he has. Not like he doesn't have any children. He has children. Doesn't give a shit what's gonna happen in the future. They take the plastic bottle, they drink, fluff. The worst are the fishermen. There is no person that pollutes the sea as much as a fisherman. They just throw anything in the sea, overboard. And they live from this sea, okay? They make their living from this sea that they're polluting. It's ignorance, it's stupidity, and it's got nothing to do with narcissism. Just realized I'm going on and on and on. Thank you for listening, rebel ones.